Hi, this is Clem Burke from Blondie. Going to look at some photographs here today. Let's see here. The first one is an ad from New York City newspaper called The Village Voice. In the 70s, maybe it was the main place where people could find each other, maybe musically or romantically or however. And this ad says, freak energy musical experience drummer needed. Female fronted, established working New York City rock band. Excellent opportunity, money, fun. And that was placed in the Village Voice in March 1975 by my friends Chris Stein and Debbie Harry. And it was basically to come in and meet them. I answered this ad and went in, we had a chat, and famously I said many times, I think they liked my shoes. And the rest is history. That's how Blondie began. So the next one is a photo of two of my heroes, I suppose, Keith Moon and Ringo Starr. I think this is before Ringo gave up the alcohol, started living the straight life. And of course, poor Keith died. They both meant a lot to me. As drummers, they were more than drummers. They were both rock and roll stars. They were charismatic as individuals, a bit eccentric, great musicians. And I always say Keith Moon taught me many things, many life lessons, particularly what not to do in order to survive the rock and roll roller coaster, let's say. Okay, this one is a picture of 315 Bowery, which is a rock and roll club known as CBGB, which stands for Country, Bluegrass, and Blues, which hardly any of that type of music was performed at this venue in the end of the day. CBGB for me was like a musician's workshop. It enabled myself and my band members to make our mistakes in public in front of an audience, which I think is very important. I think particularly nowadays people are too caught up in making everything picture perfect in their bedrooms, via digital computers and the internet. This was much more hardcore rock and roll. You could make the analogy that it was our Cavern Club, which is in Liverpool, where the Beatles first began performing and became famous. So CBGB has a lot of good memories. The owner, Hilly Crystal, was the patron saint of rock and roll. Bands that came out of CBGB, famously the Ramones, Patti Smith, Television, Talking Heads, and Blondie. Okay, this is the cover of our third album called Parallel Lines. The cover was somewhat controversial because our initial cover was rejected by the record company. It was done by a designer called Steven Sprouse, where he used video feedback to create parallel lines. And the images of the band members were somewhat distorted. And that was deemed too, too arty. This is a composite photo of the six of us. I think the combination of the suits and the trainers was kind of unique at the time. And the imagery of the band is somewhat reminiscent of the 60s, with the skinny ties and the short hair and all that. We were very much influenced by what came before the music of the 50s and 60s. And always someone points out that we're all smiling and Debbie Harry is frowning, whatever that means. Okay, this picture is a picture of Debbie and myself walking down main thoroughfare in New York City, 14th Street. And this photo was taken by my bandmate Chris Stein. And I have a pair of shoes on that I got made in London by a shoe company called Anello and David, the shoe company that made all the shoes for the Beatles. And my first trip to the UK, I went to the shop on Oxford Street. At the time, they had a little boutique there, and I had those shoes made. I still have the receipt from the store, and I think they were maybe 10 pounds, which is kind of crazy for a custom-made pair of boots. This is a photo of Debbie Harry and myself at a place called the Paradise Club in Boston. This was somewhat of a luxury. They had a private bathroom that obviously she and I are sharing. And this was between shows. We did 2 shows. And we're both wearing kimonos that we basically, took as souvenirs from our first trip to Japan from the hotel room. and we're kind of sprucing up, kind of getting ready for the second show. I'm paying very much attention to my hairdo as Debbie's drying her hair. And I really love this photo. It shows how close we were as band members, and really still are. Studio 54. This is someplace that I frequented very rarely, but when Debbie was on the cover of Interview magazine, Andy Warhol basically threw a party for her and for the band at Studio 54. Had a few nights there. It was okay, but I think maybe if I had friends from out of town, sometimes we would go there. I tried to impress them by being able to jump the line. Okay, so here's a photo of the Ramones with Elvis Ramone. For a very short time I played with the Ramones, and they asked me to join the band several times prior to this. On this occasion, their drummer, Richie Ramone, basically resigned from the band on very short notice, and they asked me to join. It was basically trial by fire. We never rehearsed, and we went and did a couple of shows. I came up with the name Elvis Ramone. The main reason was my hairdo at the time. My hair was kind of combed back into a kind of a pompadour. And one day I was looking at this photo, and someone was with me, and they said, you know what's really interesting about this photo? I said, well, what might that be? And they said, well, you're the only one that's alive still. So that was pretty profound, and sometimes I think maybe it was lucky I got out alive out of the Ramones. My view, this photo of me looking kind of pissed off, I suppose, and I'm proud of it, and I guess that's one of the reasons why I'm here today, to talk about it. It's me being me, so thanks a lot. It's been fun, so peace and love to everyone. Keep the faith, rock and roll. Bye.